Hello everyone, let's begin a geometry section. This section is very easy. Even the questions that seem to be complicated are actually not. Line, line segment and ray. A straight path that is continuous from both directions is line. So arrows are added to both ends to represent it's a line. Remember, it's a straight path. A curved one or a zigzag is not a line. We can name a line after any 2 points on a line. We can write it as AB, BC or CB with a line symbol over it. Points that are on the same line are collinear. Let's see a line segment. Line segment has endpoints. They are named after their endpoints. And a line segment symbol is written above the endpoints. Finally, ray is a combination of the previous two. It has one fixed end and goes on forever from one side. Ray is also straight. Ray must be named starting with endpoint. Correct name for above ray is AC with an arrow sign above. C can be any point after A. Even if the ray is drawn like this, endpoint is A and it goes towards C forever. Angle is commonly measured in units called degrees. 180-degree angle is the angle between rays that point in opposite directions and together make a straight line. 180-degree angles are known as straight angles because they are on a straight line. And a complete rotation is 360 degrees. '90-degree angles are also known as right angles. Angles less than 90 degree are acute angles. And if angle is greater than 90 degree but also less than 180 degree, it's called an obtuse angle. This is an obtuse angle. This angle is even bigger than 180 degree. Angles between 180 and 360 degree are sometimes called reflex angles. Parallel lines. If we extend these lines can intersect. Points where lines cross are called intersections. Lines that don't intersect are parallel to each other. Because lines goes on forever, so if you extend these lines, they don't intersect. So they are parallel lines. We can write AB is parallel to CD with two vertical lines between them. Perpendicular lines. Intersecting lines form angles at their intersection. Lines that make right angle at their intersection are perpendicular to each other. A symbol is inverted T when we have to write about perpendicular lines. Angles are named after 3 points. For this angle, we can write measure of angle AKB. K is the corner point, the vertex. The middle letter should be the vertex, where A and B are replaceable. We can also write it as angle BKA. When you have to measure angle and you are confusing with the arms of the angle, then a good idea is that you should take care of the vertex. Perpendicular bisectors. C is the midpoint of this line segment. C point has equal distance from A and B. If we draw a line crossing this point, this is perpendicular, making 90 degrees with AB. All points on this line are equidistant from A and B. For example, consider the point L. L has equal distance from A and B. So this line is bisecting AB and is perpendicular to AB, forming right angle at intersection. We can call it as perpendicular bisector of AB. And every point on this line is equidistant from A and B. They have equal distance from both points. From this knowledge, how you can calculate the length of AE? It's 4. We know it that E point is equidistant from A and B. If BE distance is 4, then AE is also 4. E must have same distance from A and B. 4 may have any units in exam, I didn't mention it. Angles that add up to form 90 degree are complementary angles. These two angles are complementary. A complement of 50 degrees is 40 degrees. What is a complement of 24 degrees? 90 minus 24, which would be equal to 66. Angles that add up to 180 degrees are called supplementary angles. 40 degree angle is supplementary to 140 degrees. We have a question. If angle FEB is x minus 5 and angle AEF is x plus 50, and we have the exact measure of angle AEB, which is 135, we have to calculate angle FEB. First, calculate the value of x with this equation. These two angles add up to form 135 degrees. And then subtract 5 from x. You can also check it by putting the value of x in both expressions and verify that their sum must be equal to 135 degrees. This slide is for you. Check this fact on internet. We are learning some terms. This knowledge is very important. Don't skip it because in advanced lectures you would feel very comfortable solving complex problems. Vertical angles. These two lines are intersecting and are making some angles. This angle over here is supplementary to this angle. So if this is 60, then 180 minus 60, this angle is 120. At the lower side, we have the same angles, but they are inverted. Angles on opposite sides of intersecting lines are called vertical angles. They are called vertical because they have the same vertex, same corner. So we have two pair of congruent angles which have the same measure. And we have a question. How can you calculate this angle? It's very simple. All angles above add up to 180 degrees. So 180 minus sum of 40 and 60. 40 plus 60, 100. 180 minus 100, 80. We are familiar with these vertical angles. If we have another parallel line, then we have exactly same set of angles at this intersection. So all these four angles are congruent. When congruent angles are at a similar position, like upper right side along a transversal, this line is a transversal, then they are called corresponding angles. This angle is corresponding to this angle. Both are at the right lower side. Okay, you must know the names and definitions. You may ask to define geometric terms with examples. And even for MCQ based exams, geometry definitions are important. Alternate interior angles. Now you have to consider one more thing. You know that these two angles are corresponding angles. They are congruent. And this angle is also congruent with this angle. They are vertical angles. So these two angles are also congruent, but they have special name. Alternate interior angles. This is a very important term, and knowing this will help you solve many problems. We call it interior because they are inside the parallel lines, and alternate because they are at the opposite sides of the transversal. So alternate interior angles are also congruent. The same concept can be extended and we have alternate exterior angles. Exterior because they are outside the parallel lines, and alternate because they are at the opposite sides. So alternate exterior angles are also congruent. If you know the measure of this angle, can you find the angle right over here? You can solve this with your knowledge of corresponding angles. You know it that this angle is corresponding to this angle and both are congruent. Now this angle is supplementary to this angle. So 180 minus 110, 70 degrees. Let's solve this problem with our knowledge of alternate interior angles. These two are alternate interior angles. And if this is 70, the other one is also 70. Now these two angles are on a straight line. They are supplementary angles. So 180 minus 70, 110 degrees. From solving these questions, you can see one more fact, and that is interior angles that are on the same side are supplementary to each other. We solved this question with corresponding angle concept and this question with alternate interior angle concept. Don't confine your thinking. Now let's solve this question with corresponding angle concept. This angle is corresponding to this angle. And then we have these both angles on a straight line, where we can subtract 70 from 180. So the point is that you can think in multiple ways. Let's see this question again. You can also solve this question with the knowledge of alternate exterior angles. For this angle, we have an alternate exterior angle that must be congruent to this angle. And then we can figure out this angle by subtracting from 180. So you can solve a problem with different perspectives, but all these terms are important to broaden your understanding.